That's right, is make sure that you are heading on over to Drea Bloom's YouTube page if you want to watch live. Unfortunately, there won't be any Facebook live on the 103.7 FM page today, but you can go over on Drea Bloom's, and you definitely want to
thing, so you just do your thing.
So I put us on the screen now.
Okay.
There we are.
Good enough.
We're up. We're ready. Okay. Kaylisa is always looking fabulous. You know, because before she is guidance counselor, she is makeup artist. Okay, listen to me. Okay, and let me tell you something. She just knows how to show up correct. She don't.
I tried.
Okay, so first off, y'all, please don't mind me have my hair. I will be stylist Kenneforth, y'all. Tell her, Draya, to mention her name today. I will be seeing you shortly, briefly. Okay, I am not locking my head. Whatever you think when you see me, it's been a little struggle bus. But listen, okay, we're here, and I just want to make sure we end this. Because listen, you know one thing though, the devil even went on testy. Let me tell you why. Okay, because listen, we gotta be in this room. Okay, so yesterday's price is up. We're ready. We're talking, and you definitely don't want to miss it. You are tuned into the Draya Bloom Show. Yesterday's price, an explosive conversation on all things value. That's right. Joining me as special guest today is the one and the only. That's right, a senior itinerary guidance counselor, Kaylisa. Signs. Now, one thing, okay, before I get to the schools that she's a part of, one thing you may know her for is the fact that she's called the Beauty Call. Okay. Okay, Beauty Call by K. Simone. That is her makeup artistry. And I know we're not talking about nothing makeup or anything like that today, but I just want y'all to know who she is. Okay, because listen, okay, she qualified for a lot of different things. Okay. So listen, I just wanted to plug that one in.
Thank you.
But she is the senior itinerary guidance counselor of Lewis Yard as well as the Beacon School, Lewis Yard Primary and Beacon School. Yeah. And listen, this is the back to school edition of the show today. And listen, we are going to be having an explosive conversation on the cost of the guidance counsel. Now, the reason why I named the show this today is because so many children are returning back to school, back into the classrooms. And one of the things is we do emphasize the teachers. And, I had Rashana Curry on last week, with the show and, just talking about education and being a teacher. But one thing that goes unnoticed is the guidance counselor. They play a very important role in the school system. When your child have a bunch of things going on, guess what? They got to go see the guidance counselor. I'm just letting y'all know. And one of the reasons why Kaylisa was just the perfect person for today's show because of back to school is that last season, she did something that was so amazing. She noticed that there were children who were hungry. And let me tell you something. She she did not just sit back and let those children come and complain to her. She made an extra step to reach out to her makeup clients and all of the different organizations that she's a part of. She's a pilot lady, okay? Pilot member, okay? That's right. And she makes sure to connect with all of her people to help those children that she has to encounter with on the day-to-day to make sure that they have some sort of lunch. So talking about lunch too, don't forget that yesterday's prize show is sponsored by the one and only Miss Nat's Restaurant, located downtown in the Solomon's Plaza, also known as the Wynn Building. Y'all, you know what to do. Go and get yourself some wings. Now, y'all, I add on my own new menu. And when you go down there to Miss Nat's, you tell her, Draya send you for the yellow hot steaming buttery grits with wings. Ooh, fried wings, y'all. Wings and grits. That's the Draya special. 352-7596. When the Lord gave me that, I was like, yes, Father, you know you wanted something. Because I noticed I talk about the grits a lot. I talk about the wings. And they say, you know what? There's shrimp and grits. Right. There's sometimes I don't know what else you eat with grits. But wings and grits? We thinking about it, y'all. We thinking about it. Sounds good. And don't forget, Miss Nat says platter. So 352-7596. Call and hook yourself up from the barbecue wings, the regular fried wings, the mango flavor, the berry wings, Draya's favorite. Y'all already know, okay? So y'all know what to do. Y'all hook yourself up real nice today. Alrighty, guys. Now we're about to get into the conversation. But listen, we don't do nothing without finding out who is our special guest for real. So firstly, we want you to tell Dub Nation listeners, as well as the Yesterday's Prize viewers, who is Kaylisa Sands?
Well, good afternoon, Dub Nation, and it is a pleasure to be here in studio with Chandra. Listen, me and Chandra go way back.
You see, now she called my government name.
I called her government name. But before the Draya Blooms Beauty, because you know once you're ready to bloom in beauty, don't mind her. When you're ready to bloom,
I rather y'all call cake because she put everything together. She's put everything together.
But it's a pleasure to be here. It's a pleasure to be here and just to speak about one of the things that I enjoy doing. So who am I? I am Kaylisa Sands. I am a senior itinerant guidance counselor with two of the best schools in Grand Bahama. Fight me. Two of the best schools in Grand Bahama. Louisiana Primary School, that is home of the Eagles, and of course, the Beacon School, home of the Mighty Lions. I'm also a mom. I'm also a pilot member. I'm a proud member of the Sunset Pilot Club of Grand Bahama, and we are a part of a wonderful district known as the Bahamas District. And recently, I was just installed as a coordinator for the Compass Club, and that is the young professional arm of Pilot International. I'm also, like I mentioned before, a guidance counselor. I'm a sister, I'm a friend, and I'm also the CEO and the lead makeup artist for Beauty Called by Kaylisa. And I'm also a motivator. I'm a person who likes to collaborate with other young professionals and just kind of help them and push them in the direction that, they should
I could vouch for that.
So that's me right there. All
summed right up. Oh my goodness. Listen, Kaylisa is fabulous. And y'all know I've had her on here before. So we were talking about makeup the last time and motherhood.
Makeup and motherhood.
So y'all don't forget now. Okay. Alrighty, so we definitely want to talk today about the kids because we're back to school now.
Yes,
and one of the things that is so important is, guidance and counseling. I like the fact that the words are together, but that's very important. And I definitely want everyone to know, what that looks like in the school system. So I want to know, why did you become a guidance counselor?
Well, firstly, I started off as a teacher. Before transitioning here to Grand Bahama, I served as a religious studies teacher in New Providence. I was at the H.O. Nash Junior High School. And while I was a teacher, I guess to my students, I probably looked like their peers, fresh out of college. And, they would always come and they would always have conversations with me. And one of the things I did as a teacher was, before we got into the curriculum, I wanted to build a rapport with my students. I wanted my students to know that my classroom was a safe haven, that my classroom was a no judgment zone. And if there was ever a time they needed to talk and they could not talk to their parents or a friend, they could always come and talk to me. So I made them feel safe. I reassure that, hey, whatever we talked about here is gonna, be
Right.
kept confidential unless, I have to reach out to other persons for more assistance. And they were so comfortable with me that they would share things with me. And one of the things as teachers is sometimes when the students come with certain issues, there's only so much we can do. Once they come with that issue, our next step is chain of command. It has to be reported to the guidance counselor. It has to be reported to the office. And then we have to wait, for correspondence to come back. And listen to me, that was the point that would always get to me because I'm like, I can't go as far as I would like to go. And when you build such a special relationship with some of your students, they expect that you would see them through every part of their life. They would expect that whatever it is that they're going through, that you are there to the very end. And as a teacher, it was only so far that I could have gone. So, I said to myself, listen, I need to help my students more. I want to be able to go in deep. I want to be able to get to their root problems. I want to be able to provide solutions to them. And one of the things I said, you know what? I need to go back to school, get my master's degree, and become a counselor because that would allow me to help my students 100%. So that's what I did. I went back, I got another degree, and I'm able to, help my students more. So that was kind of the driving force that pushed me into the counselor journey was the fact that I wanted to really help my entire students, not just part of them, but I wanted to also help them to heal in every aspect of their life.
Okay, Jesus. So, listen, purpose. Talk about purpose. If you're looking for someone to talk about purpose, call Kaylisa. Okay. Oh my goodness. So my next question for you is: you always make sure every single morning, Kaylisa, you can expect the word of God on her WhatsApp. Okay.
I have a cousin who's watching. Hey, Miguel. When I don't post that word, listen to me. He gets in his inbox, cuzzy. What happened? Because I see the thing, I need that. So I say, sorry. I was making this and I have to hurry and go back and I have to hurry and post those scriptures because if I know one person waiting on my scripture, my cousin Miguel, I know he's waiting on that scripture.
Oh my goodness. Listen, as a guidance counselor and a believer, what are some of the challenges you had to overcome both personally and in the school system to get you to this point?
One of the challenges was not imposing my belief on others. We live in a society where everyone's belief is different.
Yeah.
People raise their children differently. And who am I to say that you're raising your child wrong? My job as a counselor is to guide. And in guiding, I provide counsel along the way. So one of my struggle was growing up in a Christian home. I grew up with my grandmother and my siblings, my mom, and one thing she was certain of, we go to church. We went to church 7 days a week. It was youth meeting, Bible study, prayer meeting, night service. We were there. So growing up in a Christian home, you were taught values and you were taught the Bible way and what God accepted and what God did not accept it. But when you get into the real world where there's so much different beliefs and there's so much different religions, you start to say, oh my God, Lord, now what did I get myself into? And I'll never forget, I had an interview to become a counselor, and one of the interview questions was, if one of my students came to me and confided in me and said that she was pregnant while she was still in school, how would I handle that situation? Now, this is Kaylisa now, who was brought up in a Christian home. Number one, sex before marriage. Number two, I began to say, I started to go biblical. I said, listen, this is what the Bible say. And I remember my supervisor stopped me. She said, hey, let me stop you right there. As a counselor, you cannot impose your own belief on someone else. Your job is to guide them in the right decision making, but you can't impose. So that was a struggle.
Wow.
That is a struggle because, again, we have children who don't attend church. They don't know the word of God. Some of them have never even heard it in their household. So when they're coming into school and they are bringing some of these things that their parents are saying and their actions are going against what we, deem as not Christian like, that's where the struggle comes in. So I had to ask myself a question. All right, are you going to go the biblical way? Are you going to go how should I put it, the secular way, or which avenue you're going to take? So that was a struggle for me, having to remind myself that, yes, I know this is what the Bible teaches us, but in the same token, we still have to not be judgmental. We still have to remember that our job as counselors is to guide to the right decision. That right decision might not be what I agree with, but at the end of the day, we have to remember that we cannot put our beliefs on, someone else.
This is
That-
goes beyond the
yeah,
guy.
That's
It goes beyond children.
that's where the struggle. Yeah, that's where the
Amen.
struggle comes in,
Wow.
right there.
Okay, this is good. You could take that. You could take that in your everyday life. Y'all know how we go with the dumb nation. Listen, you gonna know Jesus. They probably say you're too fast. That's what they probably touch. But there's somebody out there that definitely needs this, because sometimes you may be encountering neighbors, your neighbors' children, and you may be like, oh, they little fast, or they little forward, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And instead of you imposing, oh, you need to go to church, you need to just probably class them with something to eat.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
And that's how it is as well. So because I mean, like, I know we're so quick to just jump in and say, hey, word of God says, I'm not saying that we do not need the word of God, but sometimes someone just might need a hug.
They may need a hug.
Sometimes
And a smile.
a smile. It goes
And a laugh.
and a laugh. Exactly. And I do have sometimes you have persons who just want you to listen, don't talk. Because see, one of the greatest things as counselor is being able to listen. I remember my first year, someone said to me, because I was just so quick, and someone said, for a counselor, you don't shut up and you don't so, that was also a struggle of mine. I said, okay, you got to start listening more, because let me tell you something, you miss so much things when you don't listen, and you have so much when you are silent. Ooh, you don't know what you missing. Sometimes silence, you get a lot from silence.
Hello, somebody. Oh my goodness, this is so good today. Oh my goodness. Now we get into the meat of this.
Okay.
You done fired up, okay?
Fired up. My pop used to say, now so we are fired up and ready to go.
Oh my goodness. So now you're almost, we were basically there. What did it cost you to give guidance, counsel? That's the question for the day.
It costs a lot of money. Let me first say that and foremost, a lot of money. Secondly, it kind of cost me a little bit of family time. At that time when I went back to school, my oldest was 2 years old. And we had to spend 5 weeks in Kent, Ohio to complete one of the major portion of our journey into counseling. And could you imagine, as a mother with a 2-year-old, because sis wasn't rich yet, that I could have brought a nanny with me on the trip. If I had them dollar bills like that, he would have been there and I would have had a nanny with me. But unfortunately, he had to stay behind with his dad and my family members. So it was so hard leaving my 2-year-old behind to pursue one of my dreams, to expand on my education. So that cost was there. Well, maybe people might say it was just 5 months, 5 weeks, but listen to me. Those 5 weeks felt like 5 years. So you know what it is when your child, you're so used to your child getting up with you in the morning times, and now I'm in this room and I'm going and I'm constantly thinking about him. I remember one time one of my roommates said to me, she said, because I kept a small picture right on the dresser next to my room in the dorm. And she said to me, she said, you really miss your baby. I said, why you say that? She said, in your sleep, he was calling his name.
A real mommy.
A real mommy. You know what I mean? And then too, it also costs you to look at things in a different perspective. You and I can look at that window. We can say that's a square window. But you could come and say, well, I don't see a square. I see a rectangle. And who am I to say that what you're seeing is not wrong, vice versa? So it also causes you to kind of look, to change the way how you look at things, your perspective on life. So in addition to money, in addition to time and family, it also changes, the way how you look at things.
It costs you, wow. You're five. How old your baby was?
He was 2.
He was 2 years old.
He was 2 years old.
Sometimes it costs you your family time.
Sometimes it does. And because it was assignments and it was time when I was going to bed late. And bear in mind, I also had a full-time job as a teacher.
Wow.
So when my teacher and when my superiors were saying, okay, Sans, don't forget I need your forecast. So I had to make sure my forecast was together. I had to make sure I was teaching the people, children, because that's what the government was paying me to do. I had to make sure. So it was just so many things. I had to ensure that my work was in order. I had to make sure keep up with my grades, because listen, if it was $1 to go to school, it would have been fine, but it was thousands of dollars. So I had to ensure that I was passing my classes. There were times where we had to do internship where I had to go to other schools, and thank God I had such a wonderful supervisor, Mrs. Turnquest, who was so understanding. You know, a lot of persons, they are not supportive of the idea of you going back to school to better your education, but she was very supportive, and she would have arranged my schedule to allow time for me to visit different schools, to provide internship as a counselor while I still had to, perform my duties as a teacher.
Wow.
So
wow.
it was like me being pulled in so many directions. And then on top of that, I still had my family life. I still had to be a sister. I still had to be a daughter. I was very active in my church at that time. So I was still performing my church duties. So it was just, a lot of me was just being pulled in so much places. And I could say only by God's grace, He kept me sane.
Jesus.
Because let me tell you something, when you have all of these things to do and you have so much going on, you could literally have a mental breakdown.
Surely.
And I can say, like the old people are saying, if it had not been for the Lord by my side, because only Him that I was able to do all of these things. And there were times when I felt overwhelmed. There were times when I wanted to throw in the towel because these assignments was coming left, right, and I was like, fix the Jesus. There were times when the baby needed me. You know what I mean? There were times when my family, friends needed me and I could not have been there the way I wanted to. But I can honestly say, thank God that I didn't lose my mind and I was able to complete and be everything that I needed to be for those around me.
Wow. Oh my goodness. Listen. Oh my goodness. Listen, y'all. This is so good. This is so good. Okay, so one of the things is that you are also, I mean, we mentioned it earlier, okay? It costs a lot to be guidance counsel, y'all, but we mentioned it earlier, and is that you are also active in many organizations.
Yes.
Listen, y'all, I don't know how Kay does it. I be like, Jesus, listen to me. Anytime Kay is blessed, Kaylisa is blessed, she is so deserving of it because she works so hard. And anything that she does, she works so hard. She works hard with her family, keeping up with her family, all that stuff. I don't want to jump ahead because I have some stuff. But she literally does. She does it, and she's so deserving. But you are also active in many organizations that you share on social media. So I want you to tell us how you use your social media posting to influence others to be better, and how do you balance it all?
Well, first and foremost, it comes with being organized. I am a stickler for that. I actually have a to-do list that I create every morning that these are the things that I have to do, and I check them off as I go along with my day. But I am a proud member of the Sunset Pilot Club of Grand. Hey, they call us the new kid on the block. And like I mentioned earlier, we are a part of the greatest district because Pilot International has so many clubs around the world, all the way in Japan. And, the Bahamas district is the best district. And you're going to hear it here from me. It's the best district. And like I mentioned earlier, I was recently installed as a campus coordinator, and that is the professional branch of pilots. That's our young persons who would have just graduated from high school and they still want to be an active community activists in their community. They can be a part of the campus club. You can reach out to me if you're interested. If you have a recent high school graduate or if you have someone who's in college, they can be a part. And I was also a part of our anchor division, and that's the youth arm.
I remember that.
Yes, the youth arm. So everybody should remember anchor clubs in high school. And one of the things we focus on is on breed-related issues. We focus on serving our community, and we also recognize caregivers in the community. That's persons who give selfishly, unselfishly of themselves, who assist persons in the community. And working with young people really, really, truly is a blessing because one, they keep you young. Two, there are so many things that they are going through. And you can be able to assist them and you can be able to provide the support that they need. Listen to me. Our young people, they are crying out for help. You know what I mean? They are crying out for help. So my role as a guidance counselor and being able to work along with the campus members work so perfectly together because I am there to not just be there as an advisor for them in terms of community service, but also there to provide counsel and guidance if they need it. So me being a part of that club, I am able to bring to my members issues that are happening in my school. And one of the things I can honestly say that our pilots are amazing. they are all about helping persons. They are all about helping, and they're all about service. So if there's an issue in my school, or there's an issue that's going on, I can always, bring that to my members, and they are ready to dive in and they are ready to help. So using that platform and being a part of pilots is has helped me tremendously, because I was able to receive assistance with either one of my schools, or whatever initiative that I have planned. I'm able to receive assistance with that.
Wow. Now we can get to that, because that is very important. And that was one of the real purposes on why Kaylisa was just the best special guest for today. Because listen, when I tell you she goes above and beyond, and let me tell you all something, she don't just do that for those kids, okay? She does that for anyone in her life, okay? Listen to me, okay? I can tell y'all. That's why I pray different for Kay, okay? That's why I be like, I'll send somebody to Kay. Say that we all book with Kay, because Kay can be organized. I'm not to say I'm not organized, but Kay have a different level of organization. Let me tell you something. She'll have everything together in order, signed, sealed, delivered. All you gotta do is show up, okay? Just show up. So I love the fact, and that's how she balances it all. What time do you get up though?
I am up at 6 a.m.
6 a.m.
6 a.m.
Hallelujah. Okay, 6 a.m. Okay, so she's up at 6 a.m. That's how she balances all. She puts it together, her to-do list, and then she checks off throughout the day.
And then also what I do is, I like to set the mood for the day. I have my daily affirmations. I put things so then the atmosphere, and I said, you know what, this is going to be a great day. And I invite the spirit to also be with me through the day, because let me tell you something. You could start off that way, and by the time you walk out that door, your tire flat. That could be the enemy trying to. So I always have to start off in a positive atmosphere. I clear my head. Whatever I am unable to do, I make my peace with that, and I said, okay, this is something that I cannot do, and I have to move on.
Oh my goodness. Well, y'all, this is so good. I always love talking to Kaylisa. Okay, so one of your council lifestyles is an open expression of your love for your children and educators who became like family. We see it all the time. How important is building a good relationship with your children while supporting other educators, institutions, and industries that focus on family? And you can run with that. I'll be right back.
Listen to me. Building that relationship with your children is so important, because one, it opens the door that your children can come to you. They can confide you with anything that is going on with them. You don't have to worry about them keeping secrets away from you. Building that relationship also helps your overall relationship to be in a good space. Persons are able to say, you know what, I have somebody that I can go to. I have somebody that I can talk with, because a lot of times, we have persons who like to keep things to themselves. And I don't encourage that, because once you keep those things and whatever it is that you're going through bottled up, all you're doing is just creating a bigger wound and a bigger wound. And then the minute something happens, or one little stick that breaks the camel back happens, it turns into a huge mess. So I always try to encourage persons, so whatever it is that you're going to or going through, just to let it all out and just to speak about it. Speaking about it kind of helps in a way. It lets you know that you have support. It lets you know that someone is there who is willing and able to speak with. I love having that open door policy with my kids. I want to have that open door policy that they can come. I'm a mother of 2 boys. So, boys are different from girls. Girls, you kind of can have that rapport with, and they'll come, mommy, da da da. I always admire my sister and my niece relationship, because my niece is like, my mom is my best friend. I was like, oh, that's so cute. You know what I mean? To actually have that, you know what I mean? Growing up, we were more, boy, I don't know, because our culture was different back then, but now children are more open, they're more opinionated, they can, you know what I mean? They have their own opinions. So building that relationship with your child in this day and age, where you have TikTok, where you have Facebook, where you have social media, giving them advice, and even if the advice is not a good one, that's what we have to deal with. So for me, having that relationship, not just with my children, but with my colleagues, like I always tell people, I have a coworker who's called me the one-man band. When you say I have something to do, sis can get it done. And when you have that good relationship with your coworkers, whatever plans or whatever program you are doing, they can come on board.
Yes.
I have a few, I say, listen, this what you do it, that's what you're doing, that's what you're doing. Now, sometimes my coworkers are Louis, they are Beacon School, and they can't, not this year. I have time for you. You come with all these activities, we're into that. But when the activities come, and the churn is we were just singing and clapping. So I don't mind when they, like, I love to use this term, so forgive me. I don't mind when they slap up. But at the end of the day, they're gonna work together because that's the relationship I have with my coworkers. One of my advisors said, she said, let me tell you something. She said, when y'all get into the school, she said, build that relationship with the administrators, build that relationship with your teachers, because when you want to run your programs, you're not gonna have no problems running your program. People are gonna want to come on board, and they're gonna want to assist you. So I can proudly say that I have an amazing relationship with both of my principals.
Wow.
I can go to both of my principals and say, listen, this is what guidance is doing. This is what guidance need. I need this amount, and it's not a problem. How much you need, Ms. Camp? Not a problem. How much you need here? This is what you want to do, because the attitude and the relationship. So building that relationship is not only important with your family, but it's also important with your peers and those who you work around with. And just like you, I have wonderful relationships. Yes. I could say, hey, Miss Bloom's Beauty, I can't take this person. I can call Kia. I can
all the time.
That relationship. So there are people that I can call on, no matter how far they are. Let me tell you how serious this relationship goes. This relationship goes.
I think the majority of my referrals to my clients, referrals. So they'd be like, Kaylisa told me that you're the best person. And listen, she has like a team of 3 that she refers to people to. So listen, amazing.
So that relationship, like I say, is very important, because I can be halfway across the country and I could call a friend of mine and say, listen, I need you to go home to my house, go to and because so it's very important.
She's amazing, y'all. And I'm not just saying that, okay? Listen, oh my goodness. I remember when my aunt, and this is just a shameless plug, I remember when my aunt passed away, and y'all, I was grieving so differently. And let me tell y'all something. My car was down or something like that, and I could not get food, and I needed food. Kay was like, I come in. I was like, Lord. Lord, when you bless her big, and they may be not able to understand because it's the secret things that you do. See, if I never told y'all that, y'all wouldn't know that, okay? But listen, it's the secret things that you do, and sometimes and the heart in which you do it. So Kaylisa is just so amazing, and so she also has she's caring for your children down there who's in the Lewis Yard Primary School. She's caring for your children down there who's in the Beacon School. Even if you have questions about if your child, should go to the Beacon School, you have a guidance counselor who cares. You can talk about that. I'm gonna let you talk about that. Talk about that. We have time, so you can talk about that. And so I want you just to I just want you people out there to know, if you are wondering if your child should go to the Beacon School, if is it the right fit. I mean, I would not tell y'all what to do. I can't advise y'all, but we have a guidance counselor here who have a master's degree. I don't have it. Okay. I only got the Holy Ghost. And they said I only go tell you what he said to me. Okay. So I would this is a great time for I'm gonna let Kay, talk about, if how when you should let your child, get registered for the Beacon School, or if your child is attending Lewis Yard, or your child may not have food, and I want you to share about your program as well. So share about your program that you're doing, and see if there's anyone in Duff Nation who actually wants to come on board, because guess what, you may be doing this for Lewis Yard and Beacon School. I know you do it for Lewis Yard. You may be doing it for other schools. If you don't know, because I feel like you just do this work to just spread out. As more help come. So talk to
so definitely going back to the first question, if you feel as if that your child needs to be tested, first of all, let me say this: we need to normalize testing. One, tested doesn't necessarily mean that my child has a serious problem. There are certain situations where a child may need just maybe a small group. You know what I mean? Sometimes everyone is not fit to learn in a big classroom environment. So we first need to normalize testing. And then when your child is tested, it doesn't mean that automatically my child is going to go to the Beacon school. Because once the child is tested by a psychologist, they provide recommendations as to what needs to happen next. Now, in extreme circumstances where the academics is below the child grade level or the child's social skills is below the child age, it may be best that the child is provided or the child moves to an environment that is conducive for his or her learning. And that may include a small classroom, and it may include coming to the Beacon school. There are times where recommendations are the child may need a tutor or the child may need a pillow program. So first of all, we just need to normalize testing our children. There is no shame if our child needs that additional help. All children are not alike. Every child develops on their own milestone. So let's not compare our child to Susie's child. Susie's child might be, hey, a achiever, a fast learner. And then you may have a child who may be a little bit delayed, but that does not mean that the child is denied of all their qualities and all of their education. I've seen situations where a child may have had a slow start in their early childhood. And then that child got up to high school, it's like the achievement just went through the jaw. So parents, let's learn to give our kids a little bit more grace in certain areas. Let's not try to compare them so much. Let's stay off Google, because sometimes Google, because I used to be like that, sometimes Google has these information that is not currently updated all the time. And then you are thinking that, hey, something is wrong with my child. So if you realize that, okay, the academic is not up to par, if you realize there might be a little bit delays in certain things like their speech, their mobility, their sight, if you realize that their motor skills are not developed, or if you realize that they are not attentive when you call their names, they're not giving eye contact, they are not responsive to certain things. Let's say, for example, they are playing with a toy and another child takes that toy away from them and they're just sitting there like, we know that there's supposed to be a response.
Yeah,
okay?
like wop, wop, wop.
Right. So if you realize something to that effect, then you can say, okay, maybe I need to have my child tested. Now, if the teacher realizes from an academic perspective that, the child, they are struggling and their level is not where it should be, then that's where the child will be referred to guidance. And then guidance will come in, we do ahead our report, we go ahead, we do our investigation, we sit in a few classes and we check the workout, and we realize that, okay, this child is not at his or her grade level, or he is really below level that they should be. Then we have a meeting with the parents. And we said, okay, we've been observing the child and the teacher and this and that. And then we make the referral to the school psychology unit, who will provide a series of tests and not just test them academically, but also test them socially. And then we wait on their recommendation to see what is the best fit for the child.
Wow. Listen, now, first of all, and I think you see me here, I had a kids program called Tree of Life for Kids. And it was so funny because I remember the program was basically for child development and advancement. And I remember creating a child assessment form because I recognized, and that was one of the things what I was good at. I was good at it. And I'm not, and that's the thing. I don't think that I was actually able to do that. So I never really pursued complete assessment, because my assessments was coming from things that I was doing at a young age, with the kids and stuff like that. And so I'm saying all that to say, I recognize that I was able to help children so far. But for me, I'm the type of person, and you know this about me.
Right.
If I'm not the man for the job, I can refer the job.
Right.
And so for me, it's like I get those children from where they're not being able to fully perform in the classroom because they're not, it's something that's happening at home. And sometimes them parents, y'all be babying up these children, and either you gotta sometimes let the children fly, okay, or maybe they may need nurturing. Either they're not getting the nurturing, or you nurturing them too much, so you're not allowing them to grow, you're not allowing them to learn, you're not allowing them to speak. I remember I traveled, I traveled to I can say whatever, but I had to deal with kids, and I noticed that majority of the kids that were in Turks and Caicos, they do this thing where they give you their money, but they don't say. They point. I said, talk to me.
Yeah.
What do you want?
What is it that you want? Yeah.
What is it that you want?
I agree.
And listen, the amount of children that had to actually talk and tell me what is it that they want.
Wow.
They was like girl, you said, and but they embraced it.
Good,
It took them a while. It took them a
because
while.
it's something new
Even
to them.
down for me to tell them form a line.
Wow.
Form a line. Order. Getting them to be in order. Getting them to listen, speak, say what, use your voice.
Right.
You know,
right.
don't just point. You know, it's good that you point and you know what you want,
Right.
but speak what you want. Say what you want.
Mhm.
Express what you want. Express your dislikes. Say those things. It matters. It's
Correct.
important. And so I just say that to say, you know, that's what you have to deal with on a day to day. You go, the children who are, you know, are probably doing too much expression. But talk about that.
Yeah, but one of the things I always said is that when I was in the classroom, like I said, before we would have tackled the curriculum, one of the things I wanted to gather and I wanted to make sure my kids understood was discipline. You have to give them rules because if you don't give them rules, you don't tell them what to do, they're going to do whatever they want to do. You know what I mean? Gone are the days where children took initiative and say, let me be quiet. No, I'm going to talk. If my teacher don't tell me to be quiet, I'm going to talk. So one of the things I focused on was discipline. When you arrive to Mrs. Sands' class, boys stand here, girls stand here. You're not entering my class if your shirt is out of your trousers or your skirt. If your face has a lot of sweat on it, go and wash your face. When you enter the classroom, this person is responsible for handing out this book. This person is responsible for collecting it. When you get into the classroom, there's their pledge. They know they have to say their pledge. They have to pray. They have to read. They have to say that daily affirmation. This is how you head up your book. So those are the things I focus on. And sometimes, depending on the crew, because every crew is different, you have some crew who would jump in and they will get it from the first crew. Then you have some crew who need extra love and attention, and you have to be lenient with them, and they're going to take some time to understand and to fall in line. But sometimes it would take me a few weeks. I remember my coworkers be like, "Girl, the curriculum, you won't start it." I said, "Listen, I know what I'm doing, and let me tell you something." Because that was the first thing I did with them, what I implemented with them, I had smooth sailing.
Yeah.
I had smooth sailing.
And they love you different.
They love you different.
Children love discipline.
I'm telling you, they do.
They don't like it in the initial stage, but they love discipline.
You know how much time my principal said? She did not know I wasn't in my class. Sometimes if I went up to my friend's class to talk, my kids already know. They were quietly. My principal said, "Miss Sands, you was in the I said, "No, ma'am, I'm just coming now." She said, "But they were." I said, "Yeah, yes, ma'am." And even if I am not there to dismiss them, because they know what comes next. One person, okay, the books, they leave it on my desk, open to the page, push in their chairs, pick up whatever garbage. So,
clean classroom, quiet classroom, Miss Sands.
Yeah. That's what we have to. And then also too, as parents, let me just put this little nuggets in. We just have to, like you say, allow our children just to express how they're feeling and just encourage them to do it in a respectful way.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because children do have opinions.
Yes.
They do. You know what I mean? Gone are the days where we grew up where you couldn't say nothing. You know what I mean? Mommy them could say and you couldn't say nothing. This day and time, these children are telling you how they are feeling. So while we have them in that state, we need to appreciate that. Because you don't want your child to be walking away saying, "I cannot have a conversation with my teacher. I cannot have a conversation with my parent." That's how come the suicide rates is so high.
And more than suicide. That's how come, you know, if molestation is happening,
there you go.
They're quiet because they're afraid to tell you. And the person who probably tried to molest them, they told them not to say anything, and they're already afraid of you. So if you would have just opened up that to them to allow your child, and let me tell you something with children, even with respect and stuff like that. If you walk your children, that's why I still like the fact that your title is a guidance counselor, because you one thing you said is you guide. And you know, I recognize that even with my nephews and stuff like that, I had to literally have a guiding conversation. I want you to tell me, why did you do that? No, forget the being in trouble. You just may be, but talk to me. Why did you do that? What was going through your mind?
There you go.
I want you to talk to me.
So you have to, because see, if you don't do these things, then how would they know that, okay, this is something that I should not be doing? Or how would they be able to say, you know what? All right, then I know that I should not be doing this. I should not be engaging in this. See, the old way was cut scale. That is that. You need to let them know what they're being punished for. You know what I mean? Some people might say, well, no, you still need to have that. Even with the older ones, you still need to have that conversation. Say, listen, what you did was out of line. I didn't like what you did. You were disrespectful. You were disobedient. You know what I mean? We need to have that. In our culture, we don't like to have that conversation. Because a lot of kids will tell you, I'll ask, how many of your parents say I love you? And very few hands will go up. How many of your parents gives you hugs? Few hands will go up. How many of your parents give you kisses? Few hands go up. Before my kids leave the car, I love you. Have a beautiful day. You speak life into your children.
Jesus.
Sometimes your day might not be going good, but that doesn't mean you stop being a parent. There are mornings when my mornings are not that I may have gotten bad news. I may be angry, but my kids will never know that because that has nothing to do with them. That doesn't come before them. That doesn't stop my role of, you know what I mean? So communication is key. We have to not be afraid to have those tough conversations. We gotta have those conversations with our children, even if it makes you uncomfortable as a parent. If you cannot do it, then have a mediator or someone you can trust, but we have to be prepared for the tough conversation.
I like that. I love that. And one thing is that Lewis Yard Primary School is a primary school, but
Right.
Beacon School is
It's
all age school.
Yeah.
So you deal with children even up to
the
19,
teenage. 20 years of age.
This is the question I have for you, especially for the parents that are out there that's listening. They may not know how to reach their children. Some children may already be acting out. They may already be, doing certain things.
Right.
Whether it's the girl or the boy, or they may be having different feelings or emotions towards their gender, their sex, and trying, all that stuff. So what is it that you could let a parent know, especially with your role? And I know you're not in every school, but there's a guidance counselor in every school, and hopefully most of them have that same type of spirit like you. They may have their own different way of doing things, but they what is it that a parent can probably go and talk to a guidance counselor to help them reach their child? How can that be a collaboration there?
Well, basically, I know for me,
but with those children who are
out there. Well, I know for me, just how I provide that open door policy for my students. I have that open door policy for my parents. I say, parents, if you need my assistance with topics, if you need my assistance on how to reach your child, reach out to me. But again, in our culture, in our society, we are skeptical of talking because we don't want people in our business, or we don't want people to look at our children the wrong way. But we have to get out of that mindset. We have to do away with that. If you want to truly help your child, it should be no shame in your game. Come, have a conversation with me. Let me know what's going on. Let me know if I can let you know how best that we together can help your child, because it's a collaborative effort.
Yes.
I cannot do it by myself. The parent cannot do it by themselves. To be honest with you, we spend, I wouldn't say equal amount of time with their child, but we spend just as much time with their children. Their children are in our care from 9 until 3. And then from that time, they go back home.
And they have a less time at home.
Exactly. They do have a less time. That's true.
When you pick up your child at 3 o'clock, some people...
3, 4 o'clock.
When you pick up at 4 o'clock, your child and eat dinner probably by 6, 7 o'clock.
And they go to bed 9 o'clock. And then
you ain't have no time like that with your child.
Go.
Your child spends most time with their teacher and stuff like that. So, or the counselor. So, and also shout out to all the principals out there too that, have them govern the whole system. But one of the things is that parents out there, they are really, really in a bind. They have a lot of stuff going on, but you have made it possible for those parents who don't know how they're going to get this thing done. I got to pay school. I got to pay bills. These things over my head. I don't have enough to feed my children. And this may be hard and this may be sad. And guess what? They may not have the time to take a lick at the government. They may ain't got that time. But they believe and they just trust in God. And you have started a program.
Yes.
In Lewis Yard Primary that feeds those children who are hungry.
So it's
Tell us
called
more about
the Pantry Program. And I started this Pantry Program last year because there were a lot of students who were not on the lunch program and they were unable to bring food or they were unable to bring snacks. And then you had some children who were waiting to get on the program because people think that it's easy like this. I come to the school and I say I want my child on the lunch program. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't. You have to go and it goes through social services. Social services have to do their investigation. There are documents that have to come in. And if your parents don't have some of those documents that they are requiring, there is a wait. And while there's a wait, the child still is hungry.
Jesus.
So I thought about this program to help feed children and to help feed families. I applied for a grant under the Character Day Foundation. I'm one of their representatives, and I was lucky to get a grant. Although the grant was not nothing much, but it did a whole lot. And I went into my office. I did some recording that was not the best. I said, listen, I just hold my phone in my face and I said, Grand Bahama, I need your help. And I just sent that video out, and the video just started, persons were reposting it and sharing it and sending it this way. And I can tell you, God has been so good to touch the heart of corporate Grand Bahama, to touch the heart of family, friends, colleagues, to touch the heart of my clients, and persons were just coming in and pouring in with donations. We had an overwhelming amount of things that we were able to feed over 50 children in the school. I'm not talking about lunch, I'm talking about snacks. And we had it so good that some weekends, 10 family was able to benefit by getting food on the weekends. I'm talking about hot dog, I'm talking about meat, I'm talking about cold cuts.
Jesus.
We were able to send those things home.
My God.
And that program was not just there just to say, okay, it's there. But let me tell you something. Do you know that there were some persons who were working and fell on hard times and was able to get from the pantry? See, not because you see somebody looking pretty and smiling and laughing. Even the adults, the colleagues, you don't know what people are going through. I could be sitting right here on the side of Miss Bloom's baby, and I could have my eviction letter right there on my door. So people don't always look like what they are going through. And that pantry has been a blessing not only to the students and their families, but it has also been a blessing to some of the colleagues there. And I was just so happy to start that initiative, because I always say this: what if it was me in that predicament? What if it was me who need the help and my kids were hungry? You see what I'm saying? Because see, we don't know what's gonna happen. And through my good work, I am doing these things to protect my generations to come. So through my good work, when these wonderful students graduate and they amount to something special and they have their job and they see when a kid or Corey on the street and say, man, listen, put this $50 in your hand. I remember what your mother did for me.
Even in the event, Kate, because Kaden, he's a track star, y'all. He's gonna be, you know what I'm saying, Olympic gold medalist. Is he trying to get the NBA?
He's right.
Listen, he is. Even let's just say, because majority of times we just think about, if my child is not, well, of course she don't think like that because she's affirm everything, right? But if my child's on the street or my child is walking or whatever or in need, but even if my child is not in need, people will always remember what I did, and so they'll support my children in whatever it is that they do, because your mom. Which the seed that your mom sowed. And the reality of it is that there are people to this day, especially who've been a blessing in my life. And I remember anytime I see, their children, if there's anything or whatever, I always still want to support the people. Because let me tell you something, when people help you in life, and they have a seed or a generation following behind them, the best blessing that you could do is do good by them people. It's to be a blessing back to those people.
It's a domino effect.
Yes, it's a domino effect, because guess what? That touched their heart more. Because most people, they care for their family. They care for their children, the benefit that they will receive. And so your reward is not going unnoticed. I want you guys, Dove Nation, those of you who are, yesterday's prize viewers and listeners, whenever you will watch this live, the replay on my YouTube channel at Draya Blooms, you can go over there and remember to subscribe. But most importantly, if you have been touched by what Miss Kaylisa Sands has said today, the things that she is doing behind the scenes. Not everything is in the public.
Exactly.
She may post her makeup in the public because y'all gonna need a bucket your face. You understand? And the brides too. Because
right.
Okay, she just called the troopers. She just called me.
I was like, let's go, girl. Bring those questions. Let's go. We got to go.
You understand? And so, I just want y'all to know that if you know that, especially, let's just say, you don't know if you and your children or anything may fall on hard times. So you don't want to fall on hard times. You want God to continue to pour into you, because guess what? You're extending your hand to the poor, to the needy, to those that probably may fall on just a simple hard time. Even if sometimes it's just be a day you hungry and you can look. And one thing I want to say is I believe that the pantry program will extend to more schools. One thing I want to say, and I pray that this reach so many people. If you can share this video, I may not look the best today, and that's okay. But I want this to get out there. One of the things the local government junior council, when I was it was a pilot project program that Crazy Thompson and Michael Pintard was under. This, thing I'm plugging for them, but they just were the ones that did did the pilot for local government junior council. Then we were in the schools, and we had to basically be the government within the schools and say what were the needs of the children. One of the things was that the children needed benches because we were standing outside the classroom. There was nowhere to sit. Teachers don't trust children in their classroom messing it up. You understand what I'm saying? And so it was no longer each because anything can happen in a classroom, especially unsupervised. Most teachers, they're taking their lunch breaks as well. So one was benches, and the next one was a cafeteria. Those things never happened. But one of the things was that if there's if the government considers that school systems should have a cafeteria, we should use some of the funding that we're already getting through, whether it's VAT on all those things, that if children are going into the public school systems, don't add no additional tax on the school. Offer lunch, and I know that the lunch vendors, y'all may not necessarily like that idea, but the government can pay you to provide free lunch for the thing. Y'all could be the cafeteria people, vendors and stuff like that, but providing a free lunch and the different options, anything that is, just the simple things, just something simple that every child, even the ones who parents do have it like that, and they're sending their child to government school or public school, that they would have that thing on.
But let me just do a quick plug. And one of the things the government has now implemented is a free breakfast program, because free breakfast is the most important meal of the day.
You still be talking about that. It's not 3527596. Go ahead.
Yes, and one of the things I always tell students is that you want your brains to open up and you want it to work. You gotta have something hot in your stomach. You cannot come to school and try to do all that you can do on an empty stomach. So one of the things the government has implemented is a free breakfast program that children will be able to get free breakfast in the morning.
Oh, so my goodness,
that there is a plus. I can honestly say, before that initiative has started, our pilot club Draya, that was something that they always did. That was one of the initiatives, was to provide free breakfast every Tuesday at Lewis Yard and every Wednesday at the Beacon School. So now with this government initiative that's coming on board, and then we had a few other, I know it was Pastor Bruce at one time, they would come on Fridays and they would provide the children, Calvary Temple. They would come and provide the children with breakfast as well. So now with those two private entities and the government now providing breakfast, our children are looking at having breakfast Monday to Friday. And that is so important, because there are a lot of kids that comes and you would ask them if they had breakfast and their answer would be no. So now they're getting off to a healthy hot start with something hot in their stomach.
So we want to commend the government for doing this. That is so important. Feeding the kids. Listen, forget about whether their parents have jobs or not. Listen, the children are innocent to coming into life. They are innocent to having to get an education. They have to get an education. Some of these parents want to keep their children home if they can, but they can't, right? So it is so important that this is happening. Free breakfast, a pilot club member, okay? It's also a senior itinerary guidance counselor, not only for Lewis Yard, but also for the Beacon School. Listen, Kaylisa Stans is an all-around woman. She is a mother. I would say a mother first. She's a mother first, and listen, she's a friend, a family, a sister. Listen, everything that you could possibly think of, Kaylisa is. And listen, if you want to connect with her, please tell everyone how they connect with you outside of the show.
If you would like to connect with me and come on board and be one of our sponsors for our pantry, we're also looking for persons to come in and assist with mentoring. We have a girls club that is going to be up and running next month, and we also have a boys club, and we are looking for hands-on that to come in and lend a hand. If you have some time off of work, or if you have some extra time and you don't know what to do with your time, we welcome you at Lewis Yard to be a part of our mentorship program, as well as to help provide our pantry. And you can reach out to me on 425-8127, or you can send me an email at kaylisasans@gmail.com. I look forward to hearing from you. I'm looking forward to working with you.
Oh my goodness. Listen, this was an amazing show today. Well, guys, I gotta go. I was also stalling time too because we're trying to get back up. But I definitely want to turn you guys over to a little bit more good gospel music right here on Dub 103.7 FM. As you know, the Yesterday's Price show is exclusively on Dub 103.7 FM right now. And you can also find it on my YouTube channel at Draya Blooms, because it is a Draya Blooms show, okay? Anyways, we had an explosive conversation today on all things value with the one and the only Miss Kaylisa Sands, who's the senior itinerary guidance counselor at Lewis Yard Primary, as well as the Beacon School, right here in Freeport, Grand Bahama, Bahamas. Let me tell you something. Sometimes some of you may want international counsel. She's available for you as well. So don't be shy to call on Kaylisa. It was just a pleasure. The conversation today was the cost of guidance counsel, and you guys can see what it cost her. Listen, she got to take out that phone and she got to start recording just to make sure that your children has lunch, and not just your children, the people that are surrounding your children every single day, to make sure that everyone is okay, so that they can put their best foot forward to make sure that your child as well as you. Because when your child benefits, so do you. It is a back to school edition of the Yesterday's Price Draya Bloom Show. So I thank you so much for being my special guest today. She's just so amazing. I knew that I could count on her because I was like yesterday. She didn't realize that it was later, and it was late. It was late. I was like, okay, I know I could count on her. But thank you so much. You're so amazing. And don't forget, y'all, secret plug, she's the makeup plug. She's a makeup artist. Okay. So make sure you guys check her out for that on www.beautycall by K Simone.
www.ksimonebeauty.com.
ksimonebeauty.com. That's the K without the just a letter K. ksimonebeauty.com. Secret plug. Oh my goodness. And y'all don't let her plug me in. Listen, when y'all message y'all, listen, if it's a big party, she can message me. So okay, I cool with that. Just like that. Anyways, guys, it is indeed a great day, a great show. I love you all, and then God bless you. Remember that the Yesterday's Price Show is founded on John 3:16. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him shall not perish but have everlasting life, because he values you. He values your life, and he has sent Kaylisa. He's given us Kaylisa for your child, whether it's in the Lewis Yard Primary School, whether it's in the Beacon School, or whether it's just throughout life, because they may just be in the pilot, the anchor club, whatever it is, and she can touch all of those lives some way, somehow. Yeah, free program mama, but we gotta get Kaylisa international. Okay, so anyway, thank you guys so much. It's Draya Blooms, y'all, and it's indeed a great day. I got some gospel music coming up next on your radios, so keep it locked in right here. Don't touch that dial. Oh my goodness, I gotta get out of the studio as well. And don't forget, Thomas and the Mix is up next from 2 to 6 to take you guys all the way home. It's gonna be a little delay for Thomas to get on today, but that's all right. That's okay. Good gospel music is on the way. Keep it locked and don't touch that dial.